You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's April 6th, 2021. Well, you've been reading the headlines. Real estate is just red hot in virtually every market in the United States. What is going on here? And what's going on with mortgages? How hard is money to obtain these days? And we see interest rates rising. Is that going to have a long-term effect on the demand for real estate? Well, our expert, Debbie Bloyd, mortgage broker extraordinaire, who's insanely busy now, is with us now. And hey, your opinions on real estate are important to us, so please send us an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, Debbie, when we last spoke, you were insanely busy, and not much has changed, has it?
No, it hasn't. Now it's just buyers. It's not so much refinances. It's people wanting to buy.
Mm-hmm. So we've seen rates go up, though. They were below 3% a couple of weeks ago, or a month, maybe 2 months ago. Now they're getting to that 3.25%, 3.5% range. That's had no effect?
It really hasn't. You know, the people that are in the market to buy a home this year are in the market to buy a home. It's like going to get a new car or going to get clothes. You need it, and you've got to buy it at whatever price it's at.
Mm-hmm. So buyers are kind of impervious. Well, with what rates have gone up on a, say, $300,000 mortgage, how much has their monthly payment gone up?
I mean, their payment might have gone up $60, $70 a month. And if you're buying a $300,000 house, with the way we qualify you should be able to weather that $60, $70 a month, or you shouldn't be buying the house. So it's not considerably. We do have to explain to people, though, how to plan for increase in everything else. You know, property taxes, insurance, everything is going up.
Yeah, that's for sure. So buyers need to be prepared for the increase. I mean, in Florida here, our property insurance rates are through the roof because none of the private companies are writing these policies anymore. We have this state conglomeration called Citizens Insurance. They were trying to get out of the business, and now reluctantly they're back in the business. Insurance going up all over?
It is. You know, with all the storms that come across, you're going to see companies write for certain areas and not write for other areas. A lot of insurance agencies have actually pulled out of writing in Texas or suspended it for a while so they can get a grasp on the cold weather that happened here, the broken pipes, the burst water mains. They're just trying to clean up claims, and those are still a big deal in some of the areas of our state.
So they're still recovering, and when you have that kind of mass weather event, it's going to take several months to get through the backlog, right?
Sure, because you've got to have adjusters come in. If people have been displaced out of their homes or their businesses, now you've got to put them somewhere else and actually pay for that. And it takes a lot of time and money. You can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that was quite an event that you had. Did you lose power?
I didn't ever lose power. I was lucky, but a lot of the pockets of town of the Dallas-Fort Worth area did lose power for some just a few hours and some for days. It just depends on what part of the grid they were on.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking. So losing power for days, that's got to be a major thing. And the first thing I'm doing when I buy my new house is putting in a whole house generator.
There you go.
And weather loss of, we have hurricanes here in Florida. So yeah, we could lose power for a couple of days. Normally, there's an interstate compact where I'm sure you saw it, where power trucks, utility trucks descended literally from every state in the country to help you guys get your grid back. And, down power lines, whatever it takes, they're there. And they just have to work off the backlog. I've seen it happen here. 3 to 5 days, everything is back up here generally.
Right. And for us, it's a lot of the roads are kind of messed up. The streets still have water mains out, but we all seem to have water again. So it's all good. It's all good. Now we're interested in buying up the inventory of all the houses. It's really a feeding frenzy right here in Texas now and across the United States in several pockets.
Yeah. So what about inventory? What's going on?
Very low. We have about a month's worth of inventory when we're usually having about 6 months of inventory. So it's everything. It's the current homes that are built that people are moving in and out of that are very low in inventory because, more people are staying put than ever before. They're aging in place. So a lot of those people that we assumed would age, move to a nursing facility or a family member's house with reverse mortgages, they're staying in place. A lot of first-time home buyers are skipping over that low priced house and going for the mid-range houses in the 200s and 300s as a first-time home buyer. So they're kind of skipping over and they want the attributes of what they grew up in. They're older. They generally are married, have kids, and now they need a place to put everybody. So they're looking at bigger homes for their first purchase. Then you've got all the people that are moving in from out of state and they want new homes and their money can buy so much more depending on where they come from. I know Florida gets a lot of people from the east side. We're getting people from the West Coast. And, $1 million in California didn't buy you much. $1 million in Texas buys you a whole lot more. So people are being pickier. They're buying bigger. And inventory is really at an all-time low.
So the out-of-state buyers are snapping up higher-priced homes, huh?
They are because they come in with barrels, out, and they are really spending the money. And they don't mind paying $30,000, $40,000 above asking price. Where here in Texas, we have been very willing in the last decade to keep our prices down, and nobody really can get much more than the appraised value. There's not that much cash floating around. You bring in from out of state all this money. What's another $30,000 when it's already a bargain to them? So it's driving the prices up.
So prices are being driven up. Are you seeing a lot of cash buyers now?
We are.
More than usual?
We are. They're selling their houses in other places and they're putting down cash. So they're doing that with the builders as well. So the building inventory is really low. Lumber got out of control last summer and it's still about 80% more to put lumber in a house than it did last year. So a lot of the new home builders are kind of stuck. They're waiting for the prices to come down. They've had to go back and renegotiate with people that were already under contract, but their house was not yet started because they were doubling the price on most of their lumber. So that slowed down some builders and just made it cost prohibitive to start other deals if they already had slim margins.
Hey, so are you seeing like an upsurge in new home construction?
We are. I talked to a gentleman last week. I've worked with a couple builders and they're building 2.4 million dollar homes in a neighborhood. And a lot of the builders' inventory is down. They have nothing to sell and they have wait lists. So who knew that last summer when we had inventory, we would have 25 people in line for $1 million house here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, who would have thunk, huh? So,
yeah.
Hey, one thing I believe, and there's no way of proving it or disproving it because I haven't seen any surveys or studies on it, but inflation obviously is here, regardless of what they say, price of gas, gallon of gas, maybe not so much in Texas, but around the country is up 60%. Insurance is up. Everything is getting more costly, food, etc. So do you think people are jumping on the housing bandwagon as a kind of inflation hedge? I
think people have waited and in some cases, they've waited too long. Everybody wants a good deal, but we never thought rates would get below 5%. I remember when I got my mortgage maybe 8 or 10 years ago, it was 5.25%. We were thrilled. Now, people were getting kind of greedy. They wanted 1.99 and 1.25. And it's like, you've got to be kidding. That is almost free money. And I still had people that were waiting to refinance and they're like, no, I think rates are going to go lower. And I'm like, no, they're not going any lower. They're going up. No, they're going to get lower. And they bet wrong. I think they just got greedy. So we do have a lot of people that are trying to buy now before rates get worse. And they're trying to get more for their money now. So they're trying to sell the house that they're in. They're renting it back for a few months while their other house is being finished or while they look for a house. So they just want to make sure they get that house sold to move on to the next one. We're having a lot of leasebacks.
A lot of leasebacks. And Actually, it's not such a bad thing. Normally, as a lawyer, I was a recovering lawyer, but now reluctantly back in practice somewhat. But, we would always tell people, don't let your seller hold over. Don't let them stay in there. Or if you do, make sure if they stay past a certain point, then their rental payment quadruples. Give them a real incentive to get the heck out of there, because you never know what's going to happen. But that seems to be more prevalent now, though, huh?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Trilogy Metals is a world-class developer in Alaska's Ambler Mining District. The company already possesses 8 billion pounds of copper, 3 billion pounds of zinc, over 1 million gold-equivalent ounces, and now over 77 million pounds of cobalt. Trilogy's Arctic project boasts an after-tax net present value of $1.4 billion with a 33% IRR. Trilogy is led by an experienced management team with proven success in discovering and developing projects in Alaska. The company is well capitalized, has no debt, and possesses strong institutional support. Trilogy trades on the New York and Toronto exchanges under the ticker symbol TMQ. To learn more, go to trilogymetals.com. That's trilogymetals.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people, they don't want to buy a house contingent. So when you have 20 offers coming in, and the sellers are picking the best offer, they're going to pick cash buyers over somebody that's contingent or needs a mortgage. So that's kind of the stair step that it goes. Cash is first, then a loan, and then contingent. So it kind of flipped there for a while. So it used to be that if you had a house to sell, contingency was fine. Now that's no longer the case. A contingency could take a long time, where a loan takes about 30 days. And cash can close in as soon as 15, as soon as title's cleared. So we do have a lot of competition, and cash is winning right now.
So realtors in Texas and Florida, I know, and all over, having a banner year. But if they're smart, they're going to prepare for the downtime too, because eventually this party's going to come to an end, isn't it, Debbie?
It is, and a lot of the agents are having a really hard time right now. It's not all flowers for them. What's happening is you've got bids you're going up against 19 people on a house. So I have a client that she's put in maybe 12, 13 offers on homes. So her agent is going everywhere looking for all kinds of homes, and they're not winning anything because she can't bid high enough to get any of those houses. So a lot of agents are just spinning their wheels right now, and they're getting really depressed and tired and worn out because they're spending a lot of time and money and they're not winning deals. That never used to be the case. 6-8 months ago, you could walk in, you may have one person bidding against you on a house. Not anymore.
Yep, I know. It's the same deal in Florida, that's for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah. So my philosophy's always been, don't pay more than they're asking. If you do.
And then you wouldn't be buying a house right now.
Well, actually, I got one, but my story with houses have been, they always just their deals fall through and they wind up with me. And I'm willing to give them exactly the price that I offered them several weeks before.
Right.
They come back to me and they make a deal. And I don't know. I just have good housing karma, I guess.
That's good. That's good. You need to rub off on some other people.
Well, it's just freakishness because it just comes to sticking to your guns. Hey, if it takes 15, it took me 4 or 5, but eventually I found it. New housing, it's incredible here in Florida where I am in this particular development. Every 3 or 4 houses they sell, they raise the price of the house $10,000 after it.
Demand.
Is it happening there too in Texas?
Yeah, the same thing is happening here. And a lot of the homes, once they start them, you're locked into that price. But if you're just under contract on a wait list, they can come back to you and ask for more money because the price of materials went up. So we're seeing that happen a lot. Those people pull out and other people step right in and they'll be glad to pay it because they've been waiting for months. I think it's just how hungry are you? A lot of people have contacted me and said that, we're just going to wait it out. We'll just look for homes in the spring, maybe next fall, maybe the following spring. We'll just keep renting. We don't want to play with all these games. They don't like it. They don't have the temperament for it like you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that deals fall through, appraisals don't meet their target, and people don't qualify for mortgages. And there's a whole bunch of factors that go into a seller's mindset when they sell a house. And some people care about who's actually buying their house more than others.
We're writing letters. Oh my gosh, we are writing letters where we can't give pictures, but we do write letters from our clients saying why they want the house or why it's important to them or what they're trying to achieve, and hoping that will sway people. Because, when you have 20 deals laid out before you, you're sometimes looking for the best number. And you can't always tell. Yes, cash is always king, but those mortgages, if they're all people that need to get loans, which one are you going to give it to if they're all pretty close? So something has to be that deciding factor. And I know a lot of agents are now submitting letters. They are trying to explain their client situation, hoping that will sway the vote.
Yeah, it's just show me the money. But hey, one thing we haven't mentioned is the foreclosure moratorium on government-backed, government-insured mortgages. So that's been going on the better part of the year. I think it's over a year now. That's coming to an end, evidently. Do you think there's a large backlog of foreclosures, or have people been able to blow those houses out?
I think they're smart enough. I want to say, fingers crossed, they were smart enough to get in this selling frenzy and just sell the house before it got foreclosed on. But, there's a lot of people, Kerry, that when they have financial problems, they just ride that ship all the way down. And it's very unfortunate that they can't check the pride or the ego or whatever it is and get out while they still have something to get out with. So I think it's just how savvy those people are. And then other people have the mentality, just make me. And they end up losing it all just for being spiteful. So a lot of bad traits.
Yeah. So there's still a number of homes that are on the chopping block that are going to hopefully increase the supply, the inventory.
Gosh, we hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the question.
You can only build so fast, permits take a while, the construction, the design take a while. And I think we're going to see different types of designs. Now we have a lot of people looking for multi-generational family homes with meaning 5 bedrooms or more, 2 master suites for maybe their parents and then for them, and then their kids still live there. So I think builders are going to have to start changing the way they build. We have more multi-generational families now than ever living together.
Yeah, that and also the fact everybody working from home, that's going to make a big difference too. I've seen shows and such where builders are revamping their designs to actually be more home worker friendly, with offices that can be easily divided for multiple workers, and or just more accommodating. I guess they make the office closer to the.
This is not what we thought would happen last year. I mean, before the pandemic, I don't think anyone thought they would be able to work from home. I don't think anyone thought that their spouse would be working from home, that their kids would be home. I mean, a family comes and goes out of a house, usually at different times. Now they're all there all the time. It makes it a unique challenge. And I think builders are going to have to start addressing that. We're going to see different room mixes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The design thing, hey, in this area that I'm in, some brilliant focus group decided that people don't want bathtubs anymore. They just want showers.
Really?
I was like, I don't know who figured this one out, but to me, that's a deal breaker. But it seems like there's a number of developments that just don't do them anymore, or they make the tub optional. And that's just one indication. I think older people probably don't like bathtubs as much. It's hard
to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And potential for injury and such. But that's just one area. I mean, here in Florida, it's a lot of one-story homes too, as a sign of the elderly population. What about the over 55 communities? I believe you have some out there in Texas.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot. They're growing by leaps and bounds. A lot of them start out in a rural area and then town kind of moves out to them. So a lot of our Del Webb communities used to be on the outskirts of town, and now they're kind of in the middle of town, but they contain golf courses and amenities. I think it's a great way for people to live and get around. A lot of them are on golf carts. I do a lot of reverse mortgages. And so I'm in these communities a lot. It's really helping people stay in their homes longer. We're starting to see a lot of people in their 60s now decide to get rid of that 2-story house they've had for years And they're part of the reason why we have the inventory we have. A lot of older people are downsizing or they're moving across the country to where grandkids are. And because they can work from home, you're going to see a lot more of that, I think.
All right. Well, I think you've given us a good overview here, Debbie. People want to find out more about you, connect with you on the web. What is the best way to do that?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram. They can find me on Facebook. I have a website, moneystrategieswithdebbie.com, dlbmortgageservices.com. So follow me, find me, and I've got a podcast called Dollar Diva Debbie on Spotify. So I really appreciate everybody's input and they're listening. And I get email messages all the time to talk about certain topics. So if that's the case, let me know and I'll be happy to address it.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming on. Any questions, comments for Debbie? You're looking at buying a home now, just send me an email. I'll get it over to her, kl@kerrylutz.com. Don't forget, go to the website, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for your free newsletter. Debbie, always a pleasure. Good luck. And hopefully you'll be able to get a vacation at some point.
I hope so. Maybe Christmas. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.